All right, kids, I want to get this out while it's still fresh in my brain. So, Ontario Works, or welfare for the uninformed, is allowance has $350 a month for your rent. Now, the idea is that you share a place or that you live with a bunch of other people. But here's the thing, a lot of the people that you would have to rent with are people that are probably not your people. And if they are, great, maybe you can make it work. But for a lot of us, myself being one of them, being my roommate is no cakewalk. I don't want to be my roommate either. Trust me on that. Nobody wants to live with me, and I don't want to live with nobody else. And that's the reality for a lot of former addicts, former convicts, people that are running away from domestic abuse situations. So if you're absolutely screwed and you're required $350 a month for rent, that's all you're allotted, that comes out to $4,200 a year. That is enough to cover building costs of one of these huts, which means that for a 12-month program, which is what the More Than Just the Roof program is designed to be, a 12-month program, one full year, you pay off the entire cost of the hut. At the end of that year, you then have the opportunity to sell that hut back to me at a reduced cost, and now you have money for first and last somewhere. Or you take that hut, you put it in the back of a U-Haul, you drive out to Alberta and you get your job somewhere. You know? Or maybe you rent a campsite somewhere, you throw up a hut and off you go. On to the next person for that spot in the program. That's why we have a rent-to-own model. Because we don't want to just help 10 people and that's it. We want to help 10 people a year. Maybe more, depends on how many huts we get put up. But that's the goal with the huts. You come, you move in, you pay $350 a month. At the end of the year, you can keep the hut, you can sell the hut back to me. I don't care. It all depends on what you need and what your requirements are. This is about you. Again, as I've said before, it ain't about me. So yeah, anywho, I'm sure you can tell I'm carrying a ton of dog food. I'm hot, I'm sweaty. I'm gonna finish this video at home. See you in a minute. All right, guys, we're back home. A little bit easier to talk now. So, as I said, welfare, grand total of a year's allowance for rent on welfare, $4,200, right? So you spend a year in the program, you're learning how to cook, you're learning how to build, because everybody in the program has to contribute to the program. So you're going to be building more huts with me so that you know how to build your hut, how to put your hut together, how to take it down, how to work with the thing. You're going to have spent a full year. You've experienced a summer and a winter in the hut, because let's face it, they're not that easy to live in sometimes. A really hot day like today, this morning we're already pushing 40 degrees in that hut. In the winter, we're pushing, you know, on average, on a really cold day, somewhere around minus 35. So unless you know how to handle that, yeah, it's going to be a little rough. That's why they're not for everybody. They're for the people that are absolutely die-hard needing to do better for themselves and for their family and for their loved ones, but mostly for themselves. So yeah, you've spent a full year. You've had experience living in this thing. You've had experience building these things. You've had experience growing some food. You've spent some time in our program learning how to cook, learning how to budget, learning how to access social services, learning how to job hunt, whatever you need to learn. Because let's face it, if you're running away from an abusive domestic situation, or if you just got out of jail, or if you're, you know, recently released from rehab, these are things you're going to need to learn. These are things you're going to need to do. These are things you're going to need to experience so that you can thrive, not just survive, thrive. Grow, expand your existence to something better. Furthermore, the building cost with solar power, at least one solar panel, a battery, a charger, an inverter, controller, all that stuff, you're looking at about $3,700. So that leaves 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That leaves $500 for the organization to profit, whether we use that $500 to pay off our mortgage or our bills or what have you. You know, 500 times 10, that's what? I don't know. That's enough. That's enough to cover the mortgage for our organization, right? So we get enough huts up, we've paid for our land simply by renting out the huts. The end of that year, if you don't want to keep the hut, you sell it back to us and we hook it up to the next person who comes in, right? Not that difficult. It really isn't. The only difficult part is adjusting to life in a hut. It's not meant to be a permanent solution. It's meant to be temporary. It's meant to be a safety net. It's meant to be a last resort option. And in a world where a one-bedroom apartment costs close to $2,000, when you just got out of jail, when you've had to drop all your finances and run away from your abusive spouse, when you've just got out of rehab, $2,000 is not going to cover you're not going to find $2,000 a month. You're really not. It's going to take you some time. So you're going to end up on the streets. You're going to end up in a doorway. You're going to end up in a shelter. And those are not places you need to be if you're a recovering addict. Those are not places you need to be if you're a former or recently released convict. These are not places you need to be if you're dealing with an abusive spouse. There's no safety. There's no security. There's no independence. Shelters suck. What else sucks? Doorways, riverside, tent. They all suck. This, it sucks, but it sucks a little bit less. And it's something that you can own and take with you to keep you alive, keep you intact, keep you healthy, keep you happy, keep you harm-free. That's our motto, right? The 3 H's, healthy, happy, harm-free. That's what we're all about. Now, unlike, say, PATH in Peterborough, or community-supported shelters in Ohio, or some of the other places who've run almost this exact type situation, they tend to end up being long-term places. People end up staying there for a year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. That's not sustainable. That's not healthy. I know because I've watched it go down. Granted, these people, a lot of them do succeed, but not all of them. And yeah, not everybody's going to succeed in a hut, but they're learning, they're growing, they're progressing. Same with all those other organizations. It's not just about the hut. There's so much more to this program than a hut. We have a huge business model we built with people from London Cares, Arcade Mission, 519 Pursuit. We have had input on our program and help building our program from so many people. We already have contractors lined up to build. We already have teachers lined up to help teach people these skills. People that have been doing this for years, people with lived experience, people with professional experience. It's all about helping each other do better, grow bigger, be greater, be healthy, be happy, be harm-free. Say it again with me, kids. Healthy, happy, harm-free. The 3 H's that help promote growth, not just in an individual, but in their community at large. So yeah, hopefully you guys can keep up with this because I'm talking really fast, trying to get all this shit in one video. What else do we got to go over? All right, so 4,200, you've more than paid back the hut. I have taken this thing apart and moved it to 3 separate locations in the 2 years that I've been in. We've had it in a parking lot in the middle of downtown London. We've had it in a former flower shop. This is our 2nd year living in this thing without air conditioning. Why? Because it doesn't need air conditioning. You just got to find the right location for it. Throw it up under some shade and under some trees. We're groovy. We're laughing. Now, honestly, as I've said, it's not for everybody. Something like this is for people who are desperate to get back on their feet. These are for people who need to grow and evolve and rejoin society as a functioning, healthy person. I don't know how else to put it. That is the simple facts of who they're for. So, yeah. What else do we need to talk about? Give me a minute. I'll think on it and post it in the next video.